don't know what his next opportunity is. From what I'm told, Top Rank doesn't owe him a fight again until May of 2027. Like there's they don't have, what they can do now is, follow the letter of the law and the contract, offer him his minimums, have him, offer him fights with like Brian Norman Jr. or Tiger Johnson or some of these guys that they've got on their stable. The kind of fights that don't represent big paydays, that don't represent the kind of big opportunities that Keyshawn is looking for. He is taking a tremendous risk here. And look, maybe it'll pay off. He didn't suffer any consequences after blowing the weight at 135. He immediately got a good fight at 140, looked great there, beating Jermaine Ortiz, got the next fight, beat Nair Albright in his backyard. Maybe he will get what he wants out of this. And we'll all look back in 3 months and say, you know what? Keyshawn was smarter than us. The businessman got the business done. But right now, the businessman looks like he made a bad business decision that could cost him both in terms of money and potential accolades in the ring.
Wow, 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 ladies and gentlemen. It just keeps on getting worse for Keyshawn Davis, bro. Following everything that went down between himself, Jay Prince, Shakur Stevenson, and Devin Haney, following withdrawing from a fight that they petitioned for in a mandated, ordered fight that Keyshawn Davis ran his mouth about, going on in every single goddamn interview claiming that the man was going to duck, that Devin Haney was going to duck. Everything completely backfired on Keyshawn Davis, Jay Prince, and Shakur Stevenson. They got exposed. And now, breaking news circulating around from Chris Mannix, who says he's heard from somebody at Top Rank, that Top Rank isn't actually obligated to have to give Keyshawn Davis another fight contractually until May of 2027. Bro, I want you all to just imagine that. Put that in your head real quick. You don't end up taking the biggest payout of your career because you don't want to risk it. The reward to you feels like it's just not high enough to step into the ring with somebody like Devin Debo Haney. Right? He turned down the biggest payout of his career. And now, might be sitting on the bench, might be shelved until what, 8-9 months from now? Until May of 2027? And fight who? Be on what card? The co-main? Who knows? And fight who? For what type of money? Frank Martin, possible opponent. Keyshawn Davis was trying to make happen. You're going to go fight Frank Martin? You're going to go fight Tiger Johnson? Don't get me wrong. Those are good fights, but definitely not close to the same as Devin Haney. And you definitely ain't making the same type of money as a Devin Haney fight. And the question then becomes, will it even be against those type of opponents? Will it be against one of those guys, but possibly on a co-main event? No more headlining an event. Due to the fact that Top Rank probably doesn't trust you. For a fact they don't trust you. You've already, too many times, you've had a bad history of messing up money, of wasting money on promotions, talking like you're about that, but losing your titles on the scale. This is a man who failed a drug test. This is a man who lost his 135-pound WBO lightweight title on the scale, who missed weight on purpose. This is a guy who was booty tickled that Nair Albright beat his brother up, and then they decided to go to the locker room and handle that situation. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks bad. And now your promoter's Top Rank offer you a $3 million guarantee. You turn that down. You take a risk. The fight ends up going to purse bird, and then you end up realizing and figuring out just how much Top Rank, your own promoters, actually think you're worth. So now the question becomes, will Top Rank put this man on the shelf? They definitely ain't going to find him another huge fight where this guy is going to be requesting a $5 million payout. That's just not happening. Is something going to happen to Keyshawn Davis like how Edgar Berlanga ended up going out with Matchroom Boxing? I think Keyshawn Davis has 1 to 2 fights left on his contract. Y'all remember when Edgar Berlanga fought Canelo Alvarez, and then his next fight after that, the dude ended up being a co-main against in a venue that you never heard of on a card that wasn't the biggest. Y'all remember the disputes that the man was having with Matchroom Boxing and Eddie Hearn, right? He went from fighting on that Canelo Alvarez card, getting paid the highest amount of money that he's ever paid, to not even headlining an event against, you know, a mediocre fighter that he's at least gonna get some good money for. These promotion companies have the power to shut your lights off. They have the power to put you in there, offer you an opponent that you may not want to fight, that you might end up having to take, because you're under contract. And if you don't want to take these fights, then guess what? You're on the shelf. They're not contractually obligated of giving Keyshawn Davis a fight until May of 2027. So me personally, bro, I think this is what you do. I think you do put them on the shelf. I think you teach fighters, you show fighters that they can't just be making moves. They can't just be talking like they're about that. They can't just be petitioning certain things and then pulling out in the last goddamn minute. I hate the fact that you got all these, you know, Keyshawn Davis supporters out here that is coming out and saying, oh, why are you guys calling Keyshawn Davis a dog? Why are you guys doing this? Why are you guys doing that? Bruh, so you're cool with the way that Shakur and Keyshawn Davis is moving. You're cool with that. You're cool with the sport of boxing looking like a goddamn joke. You're cool with fools moving like that, bro. You're cool with Keyshawn Davis pulling this off. And if you don't ridicule this man, if you don't speak how it actually is, then guess what? Other fighters are going to feel like they can do the same goddamn thing that Keyshawn Davis is doing. We need to hold these fighters accountable, or else ain't nobody going to do that. They already don't care about what the fans think. You already hear what Shakur Stevenson has to say about the fans. He don't give a how. The man calls us all haters. When it was me who defended Shakur Stevenson when it comes to the running aspect, when it comes to the amount of fights that he ran in. I defended Devin Haney. I defended Shakur Stevenson. The man is calling all of us haters, but we're speaking the truth. You can take it as hate as you want, but it's the way that you've been moving that has caused the fans to completely change the way we think about you, Shakur, because you've completely changed as a person. You've shown your true colors. You've shown that you have no integrity, that you're not a man of your word. Right? Keyshawn Davis, a man with no integrity. Keyshawn Davis, I believe, should be shelved. But the question then becomes, will it actually happen? Look it, bro. This is a business, right? Top Rank just signed with DAZN. You got all the promotional companies under DAZN. I heard Robert Garcia speak about this. Shout out to Robert Garcia. Very interesting take. You've got all these guys under promotion banner, under DAZN. All these promotional banners under DAZN. They're all competing with each other, ladies and gentlemen. If PBC don't put on a certain amount of events that are certainly exciting, they keep on putting a bunch of mediocre, crappy fights, DAZN is going to assess them, look at their roster, and say, you know what, we don't want them part of our company. Or, you know what, we're going to give them less dates. We're going to give them less dates and less time, less show time. Why? Because they don't want to do what we want. They don't want to put on the fights that we want to put on. So guess what? All right, PBC, see you later. We'll go work with Matchroom Boxing. They got a bunch of events that they want to put on that's absolutely exciting. Top Rank is obligated right now to put on the biggest, best fights that they can with the roster that they have due to the way that everything is structured under the zone, ladies and gentlemen. But then the question becomes, is the zone tired also of Keyshawn Davis? They're going to look at Keyshawn Davis and assess his worth, and they might end up putting him on some type of co-main event and not pay him as much, but make the card that much better. You see what I'm saying? Use Keyshawn Davis in certain scenarios to still make money, but not have to pay out or, you know, absolutely rely on the man from pulling out of a goddamn fight or missing weight and the fight being canceled, and that's the goddamn main event. I doubt that Keyshawn Davis is a main event for his next card. I think they should shout Keyshawn Davis, but ladies and gentlemen, this is a business. Business has to keep on rolling. If the zone wants certain fights, if Top Rank feels like they're under pressure, like they need to make certain things happen, they'll figure out a way to get Keyshawn Davis in there before May of 2027. Do I feel like that's right? No, ladies and gentlemen. But one thing I do know is he's not going to be getting the same type of beneficiaries, the same type of pay, attention, and all that in his next fight as much as he really should, ladies and gentlemen. Keyshawn Davis was like this, and now like this. And it's basically starting all over again, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if we're wrong and Top Rank ends up coming out and making him the main event against Frank the Ghost Marner, against Tiger Johnson on a big card or something, then it is what it is, bro. These fools, they don't care, bro. They just don't care. It's all about the money nowadays. But let's see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. May 27th, Top Rank isn't obligated to give this guy a fight until May of 2027. It's a long time, bro. Let's see what ends up happening. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm out.